Here we will create a Higbee thread. What is a Higbee thread? A Higbee thread is also called a blunt start thread. Blunt start designates the removal of the incomplete thread at the starting end of the thread. This is a feature of threaded parts that are repeatedly assembled by hand, such as hose couplings and thread plug gauges, to prevent cutting of hands and crossing of threads. It was formerly known as a Higbee cut. Let's get started. Let's have a look at our tool that I had already created. It will be a UN style thread, 8 threads per inch. The insert width is 195,000. It will be a right hand thread. So we click on forward for spindle direction M3. I have already created a process for that thread. Let's have a look at it real quick. It will be an OD thread in Z negative direction towards the spindle. UN style, 1 inch diameter, 8 threads per inch, number of starts 1. Approach and retract dimensions will be 1.1. The start of the thread will be at 0. The end of the thread will be at Z minus 1.65. The run in Z is twice the pitch, in this case 250,000. The pitch is 0.125. The first depth of cut will be 20,000. It will be a constant cut. The last cut 2,000 and spindle RPM 1,000. Let's click stop, do it or redo. Here we get now a nice clean thread, except for the front is always going to be some sharp thread start, and we're going to remove that sharp end or start of the thread by using the Higbee cut. How are we going to do this? We need a different tool to do that. It will be a flat bottom groove tool. I chose the tip width of 156,000. It should be at least as wide as the pitch or a little wider. It will be also a forward direction of the spindle M3. We're going to use the same threading process as before, just with a different tool. The basic parameters stay all the same. The difference here will be, first of all, at the end of the thread. The end of the thread will be different. It will be exactly one pitch only. In this case, minus 0.125. We only want to remove one thread at the beginning. The run out, we change to X 0.1. We want to have a 0.1 run out, and in Z, we want to have 0.01. The run in Z will be exactly the same as we did at our original thread. Let's say do it. Now here we get our toolpath that removes only the first start of the thread. Let's have a look. Here is the groove tool, removing the first start, the sharp end of the thread. Nice and clean. This is what we call a Higbee cut. If you want to get creative, we could do the same thing to the end of the thread over here. But for that, we need again a different tool. It will be again a groove tool, but it will be the opposite direction, the same width. The spindle direction will be reversed, and the cutting edge will be on the right side of the insert. Again, we are using the same process as before, but a different tool. Basically, everything stays the same. Where things are going to change will be, first of all, over here. We are now moving from the left and to the right, meaning to the Z plus direction. Now here we have to also do some changes to our run-in. This will be an X0 and a Z0. The start of the thread will now be at negative minus 1.5, and the end of the thread will be at negative 1.25. I only want to remove 2 threads at the left side of the thread. The runout we set to the same runout as we had done at the front end. 0.1 in X, 0.01 in Z. Everything else stays the same. Let's close that and click Do It. Now here we see the groove tool coming from the left side and removing the end, the sharp part of the thread at the very end of the thread. Now we have on both ends a nice clean Higbee cut of the thread.